Welcome to this session on Inventor 2024. Thank you for staying with us, and we've got a great presentation coming up from Cameron shortly. Going to be looking at the latest features within Autodesk Inventor 2024. I know many of you have been using Inventor for many years, but some of these features in the latest edition we've been crying out for a long time. So I know that a lot of you have, and you welcome these new features. So I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to let Cameron show you exactly what's included in this latest technology.
Welcome back everybody. Me again. I hope you enjoyed the last session, and today we're going to be looking at the introduction of some of the features in Inventor 2024. So a little different to the Fusion 360, whereby Fusion obviously updates every few weeks. Inventor goes through their big upgrades once a year, and then the patches and that in between. So we've got the ability to have a look at a few of the new features that are being added in the 2024 release, and just going to take you through some of the new features that we can take a look at today. So without any further ado, I'm going to go straight into an assembly over here and show you our newest feature. Not quite a feature, but just a bit of a life improvement update, or a scope of or an improvement on the. Let me just activate the window properly. There we go, got it. An improvement to the workflows and that. And the main one in this case is when working inside of assembly models inside of Inventor. We often are constraining and using joints in that, and up until now, without having to tweak, well, we previously would have had to tweak the background settings to make sure that we got certain commands to make life a little easier. But what they've done now with the 2024 update is allowed us to hit J on our keyboard, and this takes us directly into the place joint command. So we can immediately go straight in without having to go into the relationships panel and activate any particular tools from there. So in this case, we can go in, hit the J command, find the space that we're wanting to, or the modeling that we're wanting to, the features that we're wanting to grab, and then assign the relationships as we would expect, as per usual. So nothing particularly new in the command itself, other than just the fact that they've added it to the shortcuts, which is a great help, especially for those of you that prefer using hotkeys and shortcuts and the like. Now, another big update that they've done is within the parameters of our entire Inventor environment, whether it be in assemblies, whether it be in our drawings or models in parts and that as well. So in the parameters, we now have the ability for our Boolean properties. So for our custom properties, our user parameters, we've now got the ability to export using different sets. So usually with a Boolean function, whether it's a true, false, we're having a positive or negative value. Now, when we export these values out, that might not necessarily come out in exactly the way we expect it inside of a spreadsheet, so we'd have to convert that value into another format. But what we can do now is right-click on any Boolean function, any Boolean property rather, inside of our user parameters, and we can go to the custom property formatting, and we can either set our true false value to a number, so whether we're wanting a 1 or a 0, whether we're wanting a text value, which is true or false, or whether we're wanting a value of yes or no. So really great. It doesn't do too much inside of Inventor yet, but we do have the ability. This is more for when we are exporting this out. So if we are hitting export on this particular value, we've got the ability to then change the formatting that is available in there. One other property we have available to us is the ability, if I go in and quickly add in a numeric value over here, let me edit that and just call this one a test. So I've got a test parameter in here. One other addition we have in 2024 is we've now got the units of measurement for hardness inside of Inventor. So this is a great addition as well when we're wanting to specify the hardness of a surface or of a material inside of our documentation. We've got the ability to now add that into our parameters. And the main reason for that is this new bit of functionality, which we'll get into in a bit, which is the finish option. that is now available to us. But before I go into that, I just want to show you very quickly within this data set one other extra bit of functionality that we have inside of parts in the Inventor 24 environment. So if we ever wanted to in the 2023 release, we've had the ability to use the markup, or sorry, not the markup tool, the mark tool, to do surface marking on particular components. So if we're needing to machine that, or if we're needing to do any text on a particular surface, we've been able to use the mark tool. So if I activate this lamp rod over here very quickly, you'll see that option within the part file, so not in an assembly file, this is within a part file. In the modify panel, we have the mark tool available to us. Now I have a little bit of text in a sketch over here that I'm going to need to grab from the sketch, if I can use my right click, there we go, and turn this visible. Turn it visible would be great. Why can I not see it? Am I going crazy? Maybe a little bit. Visibility, there we go, cool. We've got a little bit of text there for man and machine on the sketch itself. So previously we'd go into the mark tool and we'd tell it we want to mark that bit of text onto the surface, and you can see how it nice and easily finds the nearest surface available to it and projects it perpendicular to the sketch plane itself onto the surface that we're wanting to project on. So that works nice and neatly from there. And we can now see, if I had to turn the visibility of that sketch off, which it should be, let me just turn the visibility of that sketch off very quickly. We've now marked that surface in and pretty much split the surface wherever that text would need to be. If you've got a thin bit of text, it'll just cut into that, whereas if we've got thicker text, it'll create those cuts into the surface for us. If I did, just for the sake of visualizing this a bit better, if I did just change the color of that background over there, you can see how it's changed the surface itself. Now, the element that has changed as part of this process is if I had to, for instance, want to grab some text, in this case it's going perfectly along the side of the lamp itself. If I wanted to at any point rotate that text, so if I go and use my rotate tool inside of the text, inside of the sketch environment, I'm going to want to rotate all of that text by a pivot point right in the center and have my text sort of wrap around the column over there, in this case the pole. If I hit done on there and finish the sketch, and we look at the way that text has sort of wrapped around it, it's again projected perpendicular to the sketch plane itself, and therefore it's missed out on some of the text as it goes around the outside of that. So what we've been introduced to in 2024 is the ability inside of our mark tool to mark on curved surfaces as well. So if I edit this feature very quickly and change this to a wrap text instead, it'll ask me which face I want to wrap this to, and I can then just select that face over there, and you can see how it nice and neatly wraps that text all the way around the component. If I hit OK on there now, we can see that text, it's as if the plane itself has been wrapped around that curved surface. So this is a very basic example of that. If I change this back to something darker, this ionized black over there, you can see that a bit clearer, and you can see how nice and neatly it's wrapped that all the way around the surface. Obviously, very, very few people will be doing this this sort of detailing on here. This is more for sort of sheet metal parts when it's wrapping around a particular curve, or anything else where you might want to be able to wrap a bit of text on something that's slightly not so flat. We've got the ability to use this bit of functionality in that. So I'll just very quickly change the surface on here. There we go. And just change it back to, I'll just undo the last bit of editing I did over there. So that's inside of the part environment. We've got the ability to now change the marking and ensure that it's marking on a curved surface as well. For the other functionality, this is available in both the part environment and the assembly environment. So I'm going to apply this in the assembly environment, but just so you're aware, it is available in both, and that is this ability we have now to apply a finish. So the finish is a bit of a continuation and evolution of the appearance, and you'll notice that the same options we have in the appearances are available to us inside of the finish. So it's really a nice way of sort of grouping that together, and in my opinion it makes applying appearances a lot easier. I really enjoy this new tool, and hopefully you'll see how easy that is to apply this as well. So all we really need to do as part of this process is grab the finish tool, which should appear inside of the appearance panel now, rather than again your appearances and all of those. And this is allowing us to apply a finish to a particular surface. So once we've created a surface and we want to either create a treatment on the surface or we want to apply a final layer to the surface, we want to then use this finish, and this finish is then going to be able to we're going to be able to grab those parameters later on, those values later on, and make a bit more sense out of it, but we also get that visual representation of what's going on here as well. So with this finish, we've got the ability to go and select faces. Now those can be individual faces. We saw how we cut my the Man Machine name into the lamp rod earlier, so we could go and apply it to that, and you can see how it split the surface. So it is applying this to surfaces, so you can split surfaces in order to apply different materials or different finishes at each of those surfaces. I'm just going to go and apply to the entire bottom, the foot of the lamp over here. And as soon as I click on that, you'll see how it really quickly takes that, and we've got some really nice new appearances that they've applied to this material library as well. We can see that how nice and neatly it's gone in and wrapped that texture, that finish, onto the surface itself. Not only that, but it also then gives us the area of that surface as well. If this is something that you're wanting to read out at a later point, we can then read exactly which surfaces have what area each surface has. But in the behavior section, you'll see this is where it gets a little bit clever. So at the moment, this is just an appearance in the exact way as we would previously have applied appearances to our components, to our parts. So we can go in here, and in the drop down we can go and choose from any appearance in our appearance library that we want to apply. So if I wanted to go for a polished aluminium, I can go and apply a polished aluminium, and we can see how nice and clean that's coming through there. If we wanted to go and apply some asphalt for some reason to this, we've got the ability to do so as well. So we've got the ability to go and grab any of those appearances that we've been able to use previously. On top of that, we can go in and add a comment. So if we want to understand exactly why this is there, or any other comments on how this needs to be applied, anything like that, we've got the ability to add that comment in here, which is great for an appearance, maybe not as frequently used, at least not yet, but still a great bit of functionality in there. Where it takes it a bit further is we've then got the next tab over, which is the ability to apply a coating, a material coating. If we want to do that, we've got the ability to choose between the different processes that are involved in applying that material. So you can see we've got 3 different processes here where we can go and apply that finish onto our model, onto our surface. We've then got the ability to change the appearance that's associated to that. So if we're going and applying any zinc on them, by default it'll want to go and apply zinc. We've got some turquoise there, and we've got yellow based on the process we're using as well. However, we can go in and override that appearance as well if we wanted to. So we can go in and drop down, I don't know, aluminium welding on top of that. And then we can go in further, and it's based on the options that we've chosen here on appearance and process. We will have the ability to automatically populate the description based on that as well, and we can come in and add anything more to that if we ever needed to. We've also got a short description available to us, which is using the processing, and then we've got the ability in here to set the thickness of the material, or of the word I'm looking for, slipped my mind, the coating itself, and then we've got the ability to add a final comment at the end as well. We've also got the ability to apply heat treatment, so very similar. We've got different processes for heat treatment, and then this is where that hardness factor can come in. So we've got the ability to apply a hardness to the surface. Once we've applied some heat treatment on here, we can decide whether we're carburizing, whether we're using some soft annealing or case hardening or anything like that. Again, we've got the appearance we can apply there. We've got a description that automatically populates based on those options that we've chosen. And then again, we've got the ability to set a depth for that. We've also got the ability to apply a surface texture as well, so we can decide on the texture that we're wanting to apply to this, barrel finishing, grinding. We've also got the ability to do polishing, lapping, and then again an appearance below that, which is then going to obviously give our items another nice feel to it, with that process on top of it as a parameter on top of that. And then the last one that we have as well is the ability to apply a layer of paint. So again, same process, it's the same surface selected. We can then just decide whether it's a layer of prime paint, and what factor we're using on them, then the appearance of the paint itself. Probably wouldn't want to paint rust on, but we've got the ability to do so. We've got the ability to paint silver as the appearance. Again, description, short description, and then a thickness to that. So really great bit of extra additional functionality on top of the options that we've got available there. We can again apply to multiple different surfaces. I can go and select multiple different surfaces, and then those will be selected from inside them. I can then apply and grab and place as many different appearances on there as well. As soon as I hit OK on there now, let's go for a nice orange. I think there was an orange in here. Let's go. Yeah, it's an okay orange, I suppose. I'll hit OK on there now, and we've got a nice man-machine-ish orange over there. And you'll notice then again, as with other features, it populates inside of the folder. We've now got a finishes folder where we've got a finish 1, and as we keep adding other finishes inside of our model, those will then be added going forward from there. Just want to see if there's anything else I needed to grab from there. Nope, looks all good, fine. The next area I want to show you is the ability we have to, so once we've got all of this information inside of the model, we obviously want to be able to take that information out and place it into something where we can actually read that information. It's all good and well having a nice pretty model, but we want to make sure that that information is then carried forward. So if I right click on here and create a drawing of this assembly over here, I do have a template that I've created for this particular one, but you don't have to have a template specifically for this. So if I go and create a new drawing based on my template, I'm just going to go place down a base view of my model somewhere over here, somewhere with that scale over there. And maybe I want to make this a shaded view just so I can see the nice pop of orange over there. I can also go in if I wanted to and place down a model of the just the base itself, although that particular base doesn't have the color. Oh, it does have the color, perfect. So let me just place down the base itself over there. Now I've created a new title block down at the bottom over here where we've got the ability to go and grab the treated area, the treatment process, thickness, and so on from inside here. And so because we have those parameters inside of our model, if I go and edit that text block that sits inside of that area, I've got the ability now to go and grab that parameter from the model. I'm looking at the desk lamp itself, and actually want to go and grab the parameter for finish within the desk lamp assembly. So now we've got the ability to go and grab any one of those properties that we were filling into the surface context. So we've got the appearance, which is orange. We've got the finish area, we've got comment, description, and so on. So in this case, I want to go and grab the treatment area of that particular finish. Hit OK on there, and you can see how that value has been dropped directly into that feature. So those of you that are familiar with working in parameters inside of Inventor, this won't be anything new to you. But we've got the ability to go and grab those parameters directly from the model, which then just allows an extra layer of functionality inside of the drawing environment. If I had to go and grab the treatment process over here, you can see we've got the ability to grab that, push that into the drawing, hit OK, and we've now got the treatment process on there as well. So I guess you'd have different templates for different functionality. I've just added that one in there as an extra ability to have inside of the drawing environment. Another addition that they've added to the drawing environment, if I go over to the Annotate tab, those of you that are familiar with working with symbols, we now have a edge symbol available to us as well inside of the drawing environment. So we can grab our edge symbol over there, apply it to the edge of our component. Although I've got a few chamfers on there, so it wouldn't be as relevant necessarily, but we'll ignore that one for now. Place the edge symbol down, right click continue, and then we've got the ability to come in and add some tolerancing and any other presets that we might want to add in from here as well. So those are the main adjustments inside of the in the drawing environment. So we've got the ability to grab those parameters, place them into the drawing, as well as edge symbols from here. Some of the other adjustments or some of the other new features that we've got available to us are back inside of the assembly environment. So I'm going to go jump back inside of that and just show you those options. First one being within Fusion 360. For those of you that that joined us for the 2023 What's New, you'll be familiar with the buttons that are available to us within the Send to Fusion section. Although it's not in the per se in the assembly environment, we've now got the ability to use manual inspection or send our manual inspection to Fusion as well. So treating Fusion as an add-in for Inventor as part of that process. So that's the main one. We've got an extra option going straight into the inspection environment inside of Fusion 360. The final feature that I want to show everyone today is within the simplify option. So those of you that again are creating models that you want to send out of Inventor to the likes of a Revit and wanting to simplify your model, not wanting to have as much detail in it for models that would need to go into other programs. Within the simplify button, we now have the ability to, inside of our replace with envelopes, actually go in and replace our entire model. So based on the, let me just find it over here very quickly. I cannot see the simplify bounding box. Let me double check. We've got the ability to create a bounding box around the entire component. I've just got to find the right section. I've minimized all of my outputs and now I can't see it there. But if I just go and grab replace with envelopes and grab the entire box, there we go. We've got the ability now just to set the exact size of the entire component. So it replaces us with an entire bounding box rather than the individual features, and we can actually go in and adjust the size of the bounding box. So if you found your component is maybe an odd value, something like an 803.481 in height, and you want it to kind of be rounded up or rounded down along the way, we could also go and grab the top level of the components as well and place it in like that, but it works a bit better in my model, at least as an all-in-one envelope. And we've got the ability to use an orthogonal bounding box rather than a oriented minimum bounding box. So we've got, again, different ways of adjusting those, and we can come in and set the sizes of those boxes as well. So if you don't want it to, again, be exactly the same size as your component, and maybe want to make it a little larger or a little smaller, just so it fits a bit better. They've also increased the capability of creating those bounding boxes for components that aren't necessarily aligned to each other. So any boxes that might need to be simplified at a different angle, rather than just getting the overall extent of the component, the bounding box itself will actually be aligned to the original object, which annoyingly I don't have in this particular model at the moment. But yeah, just some extra functionality that they've added from within there. Cool. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to show inside of Inventor 2024. If you have any further questions again, or want to yeah, just discuss any functionality within this and had any further questions, again, just drop a comment down if you are on YouTube. Otherwise, just get in contact with your sales manager here at Man & Machine. Other than that, thank you very much all for your time, and I will see you again shortly.